أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة لله. When you look at the event of Ashura, we realize a lot of things over there, and there are a lot of lessons for us. Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he revolted against Yazid because he wanted to reform the society, as he himself says in one of his statements, in one of his narrations that he wrote to his cousin. And he says clearly over there that inni lam akhruj ashraf la batara la musfida wala zalima innama kharajtu li talab al islah fi ummati jaddi. So here he mentions clearly that the sole purpose of his revolution was to reform the society, to reform the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's why he came out. Now the question is, what was those issues that Imam Hussain he wanted to change, he wanted to reform those things? So when we look at the history, we realize that Yazid has almost abolished the real teachings of Islam, and he wanted to implement a new Islam that he himself had interpreted. He himself has presented it, which was contrary to the Islam that was preached by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Imam Hussain, being the leader of Islamic Ummah, being the leader of Islam, being an infallible Imam, it was his sole responsibility to protect the real Islam, and that's why he revolted. So when we see the revolution of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he had to fight against the cultural propagation of Yazid, the social propagation of Yazid, the media propagation of Yazid. And Yazid, he was trying his best to alter and interpolate the teachings of Islam in Islamic society, in Muslim society. So therefore Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he came out and he protested against it. He never gave allegiance to Yazid, because Yazid, he wanted to establish himself as the legal leader of Muslim Ummah. And that was the reason that Imam Hussain, he never paid allegiance to Yazid, and he refused him. And he said clearly that people like me can never give allegiance to people like Yazid. So this is a message for the entire human beings. This is a message for the entire nations, that anyone who you see is like Yazid, you must never give allegiance to him. You must never comply with him, because such people, they want to destroy the society. So this was the sole purpose and objective of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Therefore he revolted against Yazid, and he changed the human society. When, of course, many people, they ask the question that how it happened that Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he got martyred in the battle of Karbala. So how he changed the whole society? When we look at the result and the consequences of Karbala, we realize that today no one remembers what Yazid wanted to implement or wanted to introduce in human society. Everyone acknowledges, everyone realizes the teachings of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, the teaching and the leadership of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam is a source of inspiration for everyone, and everyone wants to be like Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. And that's why people, they say, live like Ali and die like Hussain. So it means that everyone wants to live a life that Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam has given him, for which Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam is a source of inspiration. So it is on us that how we are learning from this event of Karbala, from this event of Ashura. If really we want to follow Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, if really we want to be a real follower of Imam Hussain, if really we want to preach the teachings of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, then we must take lessons from this event of Karbala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.